YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building for another Last Cloudia video. Last night we checked out the live stream reveal for Last Cloudia's newest announcements regarding the NieR collab, the NieR Automata collab, and some other little things like the Steam release, new regions that they mentioned. That was very offhanded at the end. So we ended up cutting off the stream a bit early because your boy Buddha is hurting. And even today, my body's a little sore. I'm moving at a bit of a slow pace, but we are here because I want to check out these units kits and do a nice traditional Buddha breakdown so I can let you know my thoughts, get your thoughts in the comments, and we can see what this collab is bringing to the table. Now that we've had a couple months in between some of these top standout units like Luxeus and Roy, even Ed, the alchemy feature in general, it's going to be hard to come out with things to rival and impact our impressions of these collab characters. So I'm interested to see exactly what these details look like and make an initial judgment call based off of that. So we've got quite a bit to review. We're going to start off with the characters kits, and then I think we're going to look at the free-to-play Ark, the LR Ark, the free-to-play LR Ark, and then the free-to-play SR Ark. So it's going to be a longer video, so feel free to watch a little bit, go get some food, come back when you're not busy, and we're going to get started right now.
Nothing to report.
So here is 2B in all of her glorious artwork. We saw that her S1 is a 5-hitter, S2 is a 10-hitter, and her S3 is an 11-hitter. So not the craziest hit counts. Now this is what caught my eye. She's got, it looked like somewhere between a 13 and 15 hit AoE, initial part of her special, and then it goes up to 40 hits as a single target special. So interesting how it changes from AoE to single target. But now let's check out 2B's traits. We didn't get to, pause the video and really look at them until today. So the first one is Type B. When two weapons are equipped, boost physical attack damage and damage cap based on hit count. Max damage plus 50% and damage cap plus 5,000 on a 100 plus hit combo. And she's got a chance to avoid physical attacks. Now this is going to be the interesting detail, her avoiding physical attacks, because we're going to see later in her kit there's something very special that's tied to that. So we're waiting obviously until they're in game to get the actual percentage chance that she has to avoid physical attacks, but keep that in mind as we read through her kit. I'm not enamored with the conditional damage cap relying on combo hits because flinching is a menace when you get to harder content with bosses that don't really flinch and they're busy just launching attacks no matter what you're doing. So getting to that 100 plus hit combo has to be a bit strategically done, in which if you're not getting that and to that number pretty quickly, you're losing out on 5,000 damage cap and 50% damage. She is going to climb this ladder, so it's not like once you hit 100 plus, you get the 5,000. That cap and damage you're going to see increase as her combo increases, so sliding scale effect that we've seen before. And her trait 2, support unit pod 042. Every 20 seconds, if HP is 50% or less, restore HP by 20%. Every 30 seconds, remove a basic status ailment. And if all skill stocks are 0, recover 10 seconds of SCT. Now this ability is intriguing. However, it's not anything that stands out to me as crazy because of the timer limitations. 30 seconds in the majority of battles in LC is a long time. Battles ain't going to last that long. So unless you're taking on world bosses or any God stages that take a while to do, you're going to see the benefit of her SCT recharging by 10, which will probably give you an S1 and pretty close to a stock of S2. But her skill stocks have to be 0. And, I'm not sure if the 30-second timer counts itself and you have a skill stock, and let's say you use your last skill stock after the 30-second counter rotation, do you then have to wait another 30 seconds, or does it count 30 seconds and then as soon as you hit 0 stocks, it charges up SCT by 10 seconds? The second scenario would be much preferred over the first, because then you may screw yourself if you're just using skill stocks at an inopportune time and missing that 30-second window. I would hope that it kind of waits after 30 seconds and then it waits for you to hit 0 skill stock to charge everything up. But that's me being hopeful, and we don't necessarily know based on the wording here. So an interesting trait, but nothing that stands out as like superb in my opinion.
We don't get to choose our assignments.
The 20-second isn't so bad with the HP recovery. But let's look at her abilities. Like we were looking at, her S1 is Counter-Strike Blade. Medium range, medium area combo attack that throws enemies into the air. Her skill 2 is Furious Blade. Medium range, medium area combo attack. So that's going to be a pretty nice AoE attack with her S2. And skill 3, R021 Mirage. Instantly close the gap for a wide area combo attack. She's going to be hitting a nice amount of the screen, and she's going to be dashing all over the place. Very reminiscent or familiar to me with like an Alice type character, the way she's jumping all over the screen and hitting enemies, and her range of attack is pretty decent, so it's getting a lot of the enemies that are close. I believe 2B is going to be pretty similar to that. She's just going to be flying all over the screen. So I think her fun factor is going to be there, because at least for me, I love characters that are just jumping all over the place and dealing damage to a lot of the enemies. So I think she's going to have the fun factor, but I don't know if I've seen anything that I would consider broken. But then her special attack is attack Dragon Dance. Attack all enemies, then deal a powerful combo attack to target enemy. Against target enemy, damage cap plus 3,000. So like we were seeing, those first 13, 14, 15 hits somewhere in there are AoEs, but then if you are able to get cap, those what would that be? 27 maybe hits of single target are going to have a plus 3,000 damage cap. So interesting, like I said, that we haven't seen before, but nothing that I am super over the moon about. And we have the ability board. So here are her skills on the skill board. The first one, she comes with a nice amount of unique skills, is Enhancement Perfect Evade. When evading a physical attack, recover 2 seconds SCT for a skill, and apply a skill damage plus 50% buff to the next skill used. So interesting how this is worded. You kind of have to pay attention to see what this is actually doing, but this is the interesting mechanic that's tied to her trait 1 that I was saying to keep in mind. Because when she evades physical attacks, we know that she has a natural chance to do that in her trait 1. She recovers 2 seconds of SCT for a skill. So I think Panda was talking about it in Discord. I was watching what he was saying. And it seems that it's probably going to pick a random skill. It would have been better if it was just 2 seconds of SCT for all her skills. I think that would have been much more impressive. But it seems by the wording of this, it's going to pick a random skill to then charge up if you are dodging enemy attacks. Very weird and interesting. I don't know if it's going to be viable. 2 seconds is not crazy, especially like if it goes into your S3. You get 2 seconds in your S3 and it's barely going to look like it went up at all. So it's all going to depend on the amount of times that she's dodging and how effective that this actually is. And then the damage plus 50% buff to next skill used. It's so easy, especially as you approach endgame, to get these units capping on their skills without something like this. So if I'm already capping, plus 50% damage to my next skill used is literally doing absolutely nothing for me. Maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to extra attacks, do they calculate themselves off of the total amount of damage that would have been outputted, disregarding caps? If that's the case, then this could be something like, but my small brain's not really seeing how this is super useful, at least for endgame content that I'm thinking of. Next is Reliquary System. When revived, apply a Strength Defense in Mind plus 30% buff to unit. That's pretty significant. And if that stacks alongside Auto Brave, Auto Aura, things like that, then we're looking at a very nice res skill that she's got. Equipment Heavy Armor. Kind of a weird skill because she's meant to dual wield, as you saw in her trait. They want you to equip 2 weapons. but she gets continuous protection and vitality effects, and no attribute damage cap plus 2,000. So there's our first unconditional. Well, it's still conditional, but she's neutral, so it's not like it relies on combos or anything. There's our first damage cap that's just going to be there if you're attacking, and she gets that continuous protection and vitality, so pretty cool. I mean, I'll take it. She's got OS chip. This is an interesting, weird skill. The core operating system for an android. Unequipping this chip results in instant death. Strength, defense, int, mind, plus 5%. So it's very confusing how this is worded. I imagine she's going to start with this skill before you unlock anything in her board, because from the sound of it, it seems that if you don't have this skill equipped to her, she will literally start the game, she'll start the battle, and die. Now, here's the question. If she then revives, does she die again? Because if not, you can unequip that OS chip, have her die and revive herself, and then she gets all of those reliquary, whatever. This skill right here, all of these 30% buffs she would get, I assume, with that kind of strategy. So we'll have to see in game. But still nothing crazy. Like, stat buffs don't impress me at all. Maybe in PvP it'll be nice, but you don't really want to die in PvP. You don't want to give up those life stocks. Next, she's got plug-in chip attack, strength plus 30%, SCT recovery speed plus 20%, mind minus 15%, and all attribute resistances minus 5. So this is a little unique thing that I can't tell if these skills are going to be magic based. The way they sound, it makes sense to me, like they're Dante's stances from the DMC collab. You activate one at a time, only one can be active, but it doesn't specify that only one of these can be active at a time. So maybe not, maybe that assumption is not correct. But just the way it sounds, it like gives you different stat boosts and then takes away other stats. So then plug-in chip defense is defense 30%, mind 30%, but then strength and int minus 15%. Then you've got plug-in chip intellect, which is int plus 30%, crit rate plus 10%, and then defense and HP minus 15%. So we're going to have to see, again, kind of confusing and not a lot of clarity. Can you have them all active at once? And then, you'd have to do the math to see, because if you have intellect equipped, but then you also have defense equipped, are you technically getting a plus 15% only to defense in mind, or defense, I should say? It's very, very odd. And then the fact that she's giving herself like intelligence as well, I would expect to be offensive. Well, she is a physical DPS, but it seems like she's going to be scaling off intelligence as well if they're emphasizing so many skills with intelligence buffs. And then the other question is, do all of these stack? I imagine they would, but we don't know until we see if it's a different icon in the game. So a lot of questions I have while looking at these kits. Very interesting, but nothing stands out to me as crazy. I know the vets are raving about 2B. They think she's going to be incredible. So they're obviously seeing something that I'm not, and I'll have to talk to them more. It'll be interesting to talk to them on the podcast or before. So look out for that on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But then for skills that she comes with, she's got dual wield, pose of glory, proud force, fighting spirit 4, resolve up 5, critical up 2, illusion. So that'll be nice because that's another added dodging potential for her. Blessed Speed, Awaken, Machine Slayer. Quick Reload is an incredible skill. We've seen it with Medine. I think when you use a skill stock, it has the chance to recover or keep 50% of that skill stock, or it recovers a certain amount of SCT. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a great skill for maintaining SCT in your skills. She's got Combo Master, Triple Impact, Auto Haste, Auto Critical, Auto Brave, Advanced Aim Vitals, no attribute attack raise 2, no attribute critical raise, Sword Boost, and Sword Mega Boost. So there is another 2,000 cap with that Sword Mega Boost. So it looks like without the combo cap, she's going to have 4,000 cap naturally. Not great in today's standard of physical DPS. If you can get 100 hit combo, you can work yourself up to, 9,000 plus cap total. So putting her at around 18,999 or something like that. Forgive me if my math is off, but not crazy damage, and the hit counts aren't stand out above the rest. So a lot of things that I'm seeing that aren't they're not adding up in my head that are going to be super impressive. But I know, like I said, the veterans and the pros, as I call them, are very excited for 2B. So, like I said, they're probably seeing something I'm not. I know her kit is incredible. The things that like auto crit, auto brave, quick reload, sword boost, sword mega boost, having dual wield innate. Her innate kit is to die for. It's all the SC saves that you'll want. She's like a NieR. She comes with some of the best SC saves for a physical DPS unit. There's no doubt about that. But we've moved on to a new standard of meta that you can't help but compare. Especially collab units, which are the most limited out of anything that IDIS releases. You can't help but compare them to the most meta things. But let's look at this LR Ark. We've got a Beautiful Songstress. So at max level, the attribute, when attacking an enemy inflicted with a debuff, damage plus 5% per debuff on the enemy, and a max up to plus 40%. So I think that's a total of 8 debuffs if I'm not mistaken. And when defeating an enemy, apply strength and int plus 30% buff to unit. And battle start auto cast Giga Blazer. Giga Blazer, I can't remember. Is that decrease in strength for the enemies? I can't quite remember. Very nice mitigation and stat debuff arc. And the fact that it applies stat debuffs, it gives your unit strength and int plus 30%. The more debuffs you have can work your way up to a plus 40% physical damage inflicted. Or I'm sorry, that's not physical damage. That's damage flat. So damage plus 5% up to plus 40% is going to apply to magic damage, physical damage, and special damage. So that's really, really nice. So if you've got some kind of strategy that's tailored toward inflicting these debuffs, which we're going to see with 9S, why that's actually significant, you can get a lot of damage out of this arc. And the learnable skills are Steely Intent when on the ground, physical damage taken minus 10%. Very interesting. Two-handed machine it comes with for the first time. When only one weapon equipped is one machine, physical attack damage plus 20%, crit rate 10%, and physical attack damage cap plus 5,000. Very nice to see that they did buff those damage caps on these two-handed skills. However, we know that single wield style has a long way to go to be generally more preferred than dual wield. It comes with Stained Decorations. Chance to inflict Blazer, Drain, Lostoma, and or Drain effects on all enemies. So again, a beautiful skill that synchronizes with this arc because it just has a chance to inflict these debuffs on all the enemies, which would then give you more damage out of this arc. So I really like the way that they tailored and designed this arc and the skills it comes with. And then Song of Destruction is a very interesting skill to me. Battle start, inflict an enemy with debuff Song of Destruction, which regularly deals damage to other nearby enemies. So, kind of like are the circles, do they deal damage to nearby enemies, whoever the circle is cast on? I can't remember if that's the case, but still, I like it. Song of Destruction sounds quite ridiculous because I imagine this ability, when it's cast on a certain target, the residual damage around the target enemy has the capability of making units flinch. So if this lands on someone in PvP that's just in the middle of a bunch of people, if they're crowded around that unit, you could have the potential of like flinching the enemy team surrounding that one unit. So I'm very interested to see what that skill looks like in game. And then it also comes with Weak, which is nice, and Silence Research. So a very well-designed arc, in my opinion. This is going to be the gacha arc, so you will have to try your luck and summon on it. It's going to piss a lot of people off. I still have some pretty heavy salt in my veins, but I'm just appreciating the design of this arc because it seems like it's put together very well.
I'm here to provide support.
And now moving on to 9S. Let's see what his kit brings. His S1 does a 6-hit. S2 is a missile launch for 10 hits, and his S3 is a pretty nice AoE for 12 hits. His special is a single target for, as we can see, 29 hits. Started with the traits, we've got his first one, Type S. Battle start. If special gauge is 50% or lower, fill the special gauge by plus 25%. When using a special, apply a skill attack damage plus 30% buff to all allies. Guys, That is huge. A plus 30% buff to all allies is absolutely incredible. That's going to just, it's to all your allies. So it's going to help your other units bring them up if you're struggling to get their damage cap. So already, I mean, by the sound of it, that's battle start. So when you start in, his gauge is going to be 0. So it's going to charge by 25%. You move on to the next wave. It's probably going to charge up by another 25%. And then if you're not above that 50%, you will have to wait the remaining time. But once you do, you can give that 30% buff to all allies, which I imagine stays on your allies for the remaining waves. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure if that's a time-gated thing. Maybe it will expire, so then you have to proc his special again. But still, I love that. I love that trait so much. As you can tell, 9S is going to be a support-style unit, and a lot of people are going to be pissed off because this is the free unit that they're giving us. They're not doing the DMC treatment. They're not giving us one ticket to get 1 out of the 3 units randomly. They are giving us the 9S, which is not going to hype a lot of people up. One, because some people just don't appreciate the support role. You know, in the past, I think about, of course, Alphonse. They gave us him for free. But the thing is, he's an insane tank. But tanks are absolutely not needed in this game, so it felt bad to get him as our free unit. However, Nines, as we're going to continue to see, he is a very interesting support-style unit. And support units are extremely viable in this game. Think of Spirit Maid Interior. Think of Swimsuit Tinkley. Think of Gen. That's the kind of tier of support I think Nines is going to provide, so I'm looking forward to getting this unit, especially since I have so much DPS in my account already. It's a very interesting character that I'm excited to play with. So for the trait 2, support unit pod 153. Every 20 seconds, if HP is 50% or less, restore HP 20%, so the same start as 2B's trait. And then every 30 seconds, if MP is 10% or less, restore MP by 40. Remove a status down effect. Exclude some effects. I imagine that's tied into the 30-second mark as well. So if Nines is inflicted with a status down, whether it be strength minus whatever percentage, int minus whatever percentage, at that 30-second mark, he will then remove that status down effect. So again, 30-second timer I'm not enamored with, but MP recovery sounds good to me. MP recovery is very limited, so it's nice to see a passive effect like this, just like Gen's special does that same kind of thing. And
meant to be my forte.
His abilities. As he said, combat was never meant to be his forte. So his skill 1 is spinning sword throw, medium range, medium area, dark combo attack. So there's the confirmation of Nine's element. He is a dark unit. Skill 2 is A161 missile. Medium range, medium area, dark combo attack centered on target. Very similar to Alice's S2. Nines has a rocket launch from his little robot. So pretty funny, pretty cool. I dig it. And skill 3 is R013 Laser. Frontal, long range, wide area, dark combo attack. Very similar. I don't think it's as wide, but to G. Lukiel's S3. Just that wide area launches from where he's at across the whole screen, so it has the potential to hit a lot of enemies at the same time. Very cool. And then his special is attack hacking. So powerful dark combo attack to an enemy and chance to inflict illness, blind, and silence. Does that mean one of the 3 has a chance, or does it have a chance to inflict all 3 of those onto the enemy? Because if so, those are some very nice status ailments that he could then be giving the enemy team or enemy whoever he's targeting. So like I'm thinking Falmega, right? If you can get his special off at the start of battle and instantly blind her, you're looking at a very, very nice strategy if you don't have things like V or the event item that provides blind, because blind makes that fight so much easier if you're not bursting her down quick enough. And let's look at the meat, the ability board. His first skill we're looking at is Scanning Interference. When using skill 3, use 3% of max MP to inflict a physical attack damage minus 20% debuff on target enemy. So it doesn't sound like it's going to inflict it on all enemies that are hit, just the enemy that you are targeting. Still very nice, especially if you're taking on bosses. Minus 20% physical attack damage can save a lot of people from getting nuked, so I like that a lot. Scanning Jamming is the next skill. When using skill 1, chance to use 2% chance to use 2% of max MP to inflict one random strength defense int mind minus 25% debuff on target enemy. You can see that this guy's dealing ailments, he's dealing status debuffs, he's dealing physical damage debuffs and buffs to the team. This little kit that he's got is going to work very well with the LR Ark. The fact that they want you to deal these status debuffs to get that extra damage in, Nines is going to help you achieve that a lot, especially with the S1, which I imagine is not going to be too costly in SCT, so it's going to charge quickly. You probably have a good amount of chances to inflict these status debuffs to the enemy. Reliquary, I still don't know how to say that, system. He also gets, when revived, apply a stat buff of plus 30% to the unit, so very nice. OS chip, he also has core operating for an Android. We know, we're still speculating on what this exactly means. We'll see more in game. Plug-in chip defense is the defense and mind 30% and strength and int minus 15%. He's also got the intellect as well, just like 2B. So int plus 30%, crit rate 10%, defense HP minus 15%. But then he's also got plug-in chip special defense. So this is unique to him. It's HP plus 30% and all attribute resistances plus 10, SET recovery speed minus 10%, and critical rate minus 10%. So the only thing here that he's missing, that's being taken away from him, is the crit rate minus 10%, because I believe SCT recovery speed minus a certain percentage makes things faster. So not a huge drawback, because I see him focusing. You're not going to focus crit on him for any reason. With all of this, bringing out his support doesn't require any critical rate. So a very nice ability right there for Nines in general. And then he's got Giga Silence, chance to inflict silence on all enemies. I believe that is a magic spell. The Gigas are spells that you have to cast. So a nice way to possibly shut down spellcasters in Arena. And then for his other skills that he comes with: Curse Research, Blind Research, Paranoia, Flying Shadow, Weak, Anula Melf, Terror Melf 2, Fighting Spirit 3, MP up max, Skill Charge 2, Ale of Honor, Dark Drive, Dark Attack Raise, Machine Slayer, Auto Brave, Auto Protection, Decoy he comes with, and Clothes High Boost. So you're going to see his kit and his traits, and you're thinking, no damage cap, trash unit. But I completely disagree with anyone who's trying to say that. Again, this is a support / status debuffer / ailment spammer. So he's providing insane utility to the team. Even like Gen, Gen is SCT recharge and buffs / debuffs to the team. V is mainly status ailments with a little bit of damage sprinkled in there and some very nice utility and crowd control in his skills. Nines is, like I said, buffing the team, debuffing the enemies, and giving status ailments. Those are three very, very meta things for end game, and it's all included in Nine's package. So I'm not mad at this guy at all. I'm very excited to see what can be done, what battles can be made to look way easier just by bringing him and making the enemy look like a freaking cotton ball. They can't even hit you with any type of power. So I'm very, very excited to see Nines in the game. And I don't mind getting him as the free unit at all. Here we have the SR Ark details. A very exciting prospect that they're adding another SR Ark to the game, when previously I think a lot of us thought that would never be the case, because in the Q&A, Barleen said like SRs are not going to be a thing anymore. However, hopefully the community made enough of an influence to provide excitement and why it's valuable to have more SRs, and hopefully ours in the future. You never know when they could do a quality of life update like that. So I'm going to be hopeful. We've got Emil Head SR Ark, the attribute at max level. When inflicted with a status ailment, defense in mind plus 20%. Battle start, inflict unit with curse. Regular attacks have a chance to inflict curse. So curse is a very, very, very nice ability to have. The fact that you inflict yourself with curse, it activates that defense in mind plus 20% for the unit, but then your unit can't use any skills. Now, that might sound pointless, and you're thinking, when would I ever use this? So for me personally, sometimes I like to take the Elder King Mask, which does the same thing. If you equip it to a unit, I think it makes magic stronger, but it doesn't allow your unit to use any skills. However, I use it whenever I'm running Gen on the team, Because with Gen, my main purpose with him is to spam like a Glass Record or a WAP. And when his MP drains, the only way for him to get MP back reliably is to normal attack by using Goddess Kiss. So I don't really want him using skills if he's just an AI hovering in the background. So I give him that Elder King mask in order to just have him be spamming his normal attacks and hopefully recharging MP until I can start spamming his spells again. So something like that and that kind of strategy makes me excited for this SR Ark. The thing is, if I ran this on Gen with that strategy in mind, I would lose the Valentine's Day Ark, which is essential for casting speed, recovery magic casting speed. So I don't think it would work in that case, but just to present a scenario where not wanting to use skills can actually be a strategy in some places. It just depends on what battles you're taking on, who you're bringing, and what the specific things that are needed are going to look like. I'm not mad at it. Again, it's an SR Ark. We can't expect like top tier Ark attribute, but a really funny and interesting thing right here. Then learnable skills, it only comes with 2 unique skills, which is Quick Getaway when close to death, boost movement speed, which is pretty hilarious, and then Uncanny Smile, add machine type to unit, but then you get defense plus 10%. I mean, on a unit like Swimsuit Alice or Alice, like if you need some extra defense, which I don't know when you would, maybe in PvP, depending on the SC cost, this could be a nice little skill for you. And then we've got Curse, Curse Resist, Shadow Wall, and Dark Shield. So nothing too crazy and unique with this skill. We'll see what the Arc Ether reward looks like. They still haven't shown us Arc Ether rewards in these showcases yet. I hope they do soon. But that might be what makes this Arc stand out. We'll have to wait and see. And finally, the Emil Shop LR Ark, which seems to be an Ark that we can grind up for free in the event. A very nice addition. I'm very happy they did this because it just makes you feel like at least they're not shafting the free-to-play budget player base completely when they give out things like this. So props to Idis on this move right here. But let's check it out. The Emil Shop Ark attribute at max level. Boost chance of supplying enhancements. Occasionally restore a little HP. And continuous speed effect. Speed is always great, especially for certain close range units, so that's going to be fun. Occasionally restore a little HP is whatever. It's probably going to be a very minuscule amount, so I don't think it'll be that impactful. But then a boost chance of supplying enhancements. Now this I don't quite understand yet. I don't know if supplying enhancements is something that's specific to the event that we've got going on, or if it's something that I just am not familiar with and one of you guys can enlighten me on. So not quite sure what that means, but let's look at the learnable skills. High speed shopkeep is boost movement speed until damage is taken. Crypt's gonna, I already know Crypt is probably enamored with this Ark. It's got skill salve S. Occasionally supply during battle. Increase units SCT recovery speed by plus 100% for 15 seconds. I actually think I just put 2 and 2 together. I think these skills, right, they're separate. So you have to equip these skills to the unit individually. But then if you're running this Ark, it probably increases the chance for you to get the skill salve effect. Which, I mean, SCT recovery speed by 100%. Your skill stocks are going to be flying. That's an awesome ability. So again, it's all dependent on percentage chance of proccing that makes these things really useful or not. So we'll have to see. The next enhancement is going to be melee defense up S. Occasionally supply during battle. Reduce damage taken minus 50% for 15 seconds. That might be extremely toxic in PvP if it's able to proc a reliable amount of the time. And then Cure All plus Heal All. Occasionally supplied during battle. Very greatly restore HP and recover from all status ailments. I mean, damn. That's pretty wild. I love it. Again, percentages we don't know yet. But as far as effect-wise, that is extremely powerful. To just be running around and then maybe you get hit pretty hard, but this procs and you're back up to full health. Again, I'm thinking PvP, depending on how useful, depending on how reliable these things are, could be pretty crazy as far as sustain. And then it has Accelerate, which I believe is boost movement speed at max HP. It's either max HP or close to death. And then Rapid Recovery, I think, decreases the amount of time it takes for status ailments to wear off of you, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not sure. So correct me if I'm wrong there. But I think we did it. Oh my goodness. I think we got through. all of the Part 1 additions to the gacha, the characters, 2B9S, the 2 LR Arks, and the SR Ark we were able to look at, give my thoughts on it, and there we go. I think I can wrap up this video, get to editing it and posting it up. What do you guys think? Again, I love that, 3 out of the 5 things that we looked at in today's showcase, they're going to be free if you grind them, right? I imagine 9S will be given to you during the event, or maybe you buy him from the shop. We'll have to see. They'll probably give out all of his prisms and souls so you can max him out very quickly. So you can have immediately, especially a new account who maybe doesn't have Spirit Made Interior, they weren't around for the Dr. Stone rerun, they're going to have an incredible support / ailment spammer on their team, which can just change difficult battles. It can change the pace of difficult battles immensely. So that'll be a huge come up for newer players. The LR Ark, I imagine, is going to be something you have to farm enough currency from the event, and then you can purchase it from the shop. Again, we'll see what those AERs look like, but it seems like a very, very competent Ark that can have some pretty nice strategies built from some of those skills. And like we saw, those occasional chances, we'll see how often those proc, but very, very nice effects, all things considered. And then we have the SR Ark, which is quirky and funny and weird. It's not anything crazy, but just the fact that it's an SR Ark that they're adding to the game makes me happy and excited. So, so far, I am very pleased with what I'm seeing. It is definitely changed how I feel, at least has mitigated some of the salt that comes out when I start talking about the game. Obviously, people are still not going to have crystals to summon for 2B, the new LR Gacha Ark, and then we have A2 right around the corner. So the suggestion from your boy is to save, don't spend. Like, I know it's impossible for some people, and do what you want to do to have fun with the game, but the recommendation, because of how limited people's crystal stocks, I imagine, are going to be, wait until the A2 banner comes out before you make your decision on who to pull for and who to just bet your chances on getting. That's going to be a way to hopefully mitigate some amount of salt and build up a little more crystals before you just watch them all disappear. So a lot of people are still going to be frustrated. I'm excited. Of course, like I said, this channel has been built off of Last Cloudia so far, so I want the game to do nothing but thrive and make good decisions. I see some better decisions being made here versus the FMA collab, if we're just considering the structure of these two collabs, but there are still some major issues that they're going to have to get on top of to appease a lot of the player sentiments right now. So there we go, guys. I've done enough talking and ranting, but we did it. We got through it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you're excited to pull. If you're excited for anything, are you very underwhelmed? Or do you see something that I'm not, which is going to make these units just insane? I mean, 2B, like I said, her kit altogether, she's going to be capping so easily with all of those physical damage modifiers. She comes with dual wield, a lot of SC saves, so you can stack a lot of other things on top of her. And these are going to be 5-star units, so they get an extra 10 SC, 90 SC once you've maxed them out. Going to be very interesting to see what the veterans do with these characters. So with that, I need to shut up and close out the video by saying, work hard, play harder. See you in the next one.